What's happening, guys? We're back. Today's a pretty exciting day. We're going to take a shot at demolding that hood. Alright, so we are going to take a shot at demolding the hood. I think at the end of last episode we had just finished up all of the upper molds, both halves. Since then I came out and did a little bit of sanding with just my orbital sander, knocked off all the stray hairs that would give us slivers and whatnot. We weren't really trying to make it smooth, we just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't hurt ourselves while we were handling the mold. Then I came out and drilled a whole bunch of 1/4-inch holes along the flanges, both along the top side there and around the front. Those are for bolts, so I bolted all the mold pieces together so that when we actually demold the thing, we can put it back together again in the right configuration, bolt everything together, and it should be plenty strong enough to hold that mold together while we cast the fiberglass on the inside. So ran a whole bunch of bolts along both flanges, and then we needed some way to turn the hood over so that we could do the final piece, which is the underside of the air dam there. So got some scrap wood and built ourselves a big frame on top of it, so when we flipped it over it had something to rest on. One of the interesting things about that frame is we had to make the front quite a bit taller than the back. That was kind of thinking ahead to when we cast the hood. When we're pouring resin on the inside of that mold, we want that resin to flow to the back of the hood rather than to the front. Because if it flows to the back, it can just run off and onto the floor. If it flows to the front, it's going to pool in that front air dam and create a really thick resin layer without any glass, and that's going to reduce the strength of that front air dam lip. So we built that big frame on the top, flipped the whole hood over, and then I came through and put a couple layers of glass on that underside. Got that all ready to go. So now, today, all we gotta do is come through here and cut our flanges, make them straight, and drill all those holes for the bolts. And then we should be ready to start prying and see if our mold release worked. So I'm gonna throw on a dust mask, grab my grinder, we'll cut those flanges, drill some holes, and then come up with a plan of attack to start demolding this thing. Alright, moment of truth. Everything's trimmed up. I got a bunch of holes drilled in there so we can bolt these pieces back together again. I originally wanted to pull the front air dam off first, thinking that I'd be able to pry against all the other flanges, but I'm worried that if I start prying against flanges, we'll break them, and then we'll be in real hot water. So I'm going to start by trying to pull off this little nose piece, and then we can flip it over and do the top side. So I got some prying instruments. Let's just see what happens. right, we kind of knew that this was going to be a problem. I can't get this front air dam piece to pop off. I think it's because we have so much surface area in here that we're trying to kind of shear out rather than just kind of peel it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Sawzall and cut this whole front piece off, and then we'll split the buck and pull the buck off in 2 pieces. We're not going to reuse this buck for anything, so it's pretty much garbage anyhow. I wanted to pop it off to kind of basically practice for when the hood's in there, but I think when the hood's in there, we're going to put an air fitting in here, and we're going to use compressed air to pop it off. So I'm going to draw a line along here, make sure that we don't cut into our mold section, and we'll just cut right through the foam. All right, I'm gonna do some cleanup on these things, get the drywall mud off, maybe take them outside, rinse off all the PVA and whatnot, and then I'll bolt them all back together again and show you guys the final product. All right, we've got all the PVA scrubbed off of there, got it all reassembled back on its stand. It's looking pretty good. There are some spots that aren't perfect on the inside. The surface finish is, there's some spots where like the PVA got bunched up, or there was a big run in the PVA, or there's one spot where the resin went on a little thin and it orange peeled. So that gave texture to the inside of the mold. We're gonna have to fix those. I had fully planned on doing a little bit of post-processing work on the hood mold anyhow, before we cast the hood in there. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna jump right on to making a hood out of this mold, frankly, because I'm sick and tired of fiberglassing. So I'm gonna put this guy on the back burner. Because it is all small pieces now, I can haul it downstairs and get it out of the shop and then bring one piece at a time up and do the work on it. So next week, hopefully we can have the chassis back in here and we can start doing some more fabrication work on that. I want to finish up the roll cage, etc., etc. So all done fiberglassing for now. We'll move back to the fabrication stuff. Next week is episode 100. I had originally intended on doing kind of a recap, question and answer thing for episode 100. We got some new people to the channel that may be a little bit confused about why we're doing some of the things, and frankly don't want to go back and watch 100 episodes of us building a car. So we're not going to be able to do it for episode 100 just due to timing. I would still like to do it, maybe episode 102, 105, something like that. If you guys want to hear about that, leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you guys want to hear, what you want to talk about. If you have any questions for me, things like that. And if there's interest, we'll do it. If there isn't, I don't know, we'll weld something. So I'm gonna call an episode there, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking it out through over a month of fiberglass videos. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out on Instagram, Leftfootfirst Media, and we'll see you next week. I'm out of here.